Hello everyone and welcome into Coach Craig Sports. This is the MLB DFS Core Pick video for today, Tuesday, August 27th. If you're joining me for the very first time, first of all, welcome. Second of all, this is how today's video will be structured. We'll be going over my core picks, which is going to be one pitcher, four hitters. It's going to be based on a combination of past performance versus the respective opponent, as well as some recent history. And then we'll get over to my cheat sheet and talk about the top GPP teams to stack for tonight's slate overall. That cheat sheet is 100% free. It's up on Facebook, it's up on Twitter, it's up on the YouTube community tab, so definitely feel free to check it out as you're building out your lineups for tonight's slate overall. But without further ado, we'll get right into it with the core picks for tonight. And we're going to start off at the pitcher position with Andrew Heaney of the Texas Rangers. He's $8,000, averaging just over 25 fantasy points on the season. Been a really up and down year for him, but going against the Chicago White Sox tonight, he has not pitched against them in 2024, but he did pitch against them twice in 2023. He had 61 and 35 points versus them in 2023, so some pretty good upside there. He's got pretty good history versus most of this White Sox team. The only guy that's had a little bit of success versus him is Luis Robert with a home run, 2 for 7, but other than that, has fared pretty well versus the White Sox. And if we look at what Andrew Heaney's done so far in the season, only 4 wins, so that's one of the things that's kind of mainly setting him back, as well as, not always pitching 6 innings to get that quality start. ERA is just over 4 at 4.04, but does have a little bit of upside tonight. If he's getting some of those strikeouts, if he pitches 6 innings, if he gets the quality starting to win, it's going to look pretty good tonight overall. Obviously, feel free to mix and match at that pitcher position as well. Then we're going to move down to our hitters with first baseman Vladimir Guerrero. You can also play him at third base. He's $3,800, averaging just over 12 fantasy points per game, goes against the Boston Red Sox. We're not exactly sure who the starting pitcher will be. It might be Cooper Criswell. They might bring up Quinn Priester. So either way, looks pretty good for Vladimir Guerrero. He's been doing really well as of late. If he goes against Quinn Priester, 1 for 3 versus him in his career. If it's Cooper Criswell, 1 for 4. And currently he's on a modest 3-game hitting streak. 3 multi-hit games during that time span, 1 home run, and all 3 of those games have been double-digit performances. And if we look at what he's done so far in the season in totality, 321 batting average, that's really good. 27 home runs, 87 RBIs. Once again, averaging over 12 fantasy points per game at $3,800. Looks like a solid play once again tonight. And then we're going to move down to second base with Kiki Hernandez. You can play him at first base, third base, outfield as well. $2,600, averaging about 6 fantasy points per game. Obviously, he's a part-time player. Goes against the Baltimore Orioles and Cole Irvin on the mound. And he is 3 for 6 with 2 home runs in his career versus Cole Irvin. So some pretty good history there at that. If we look at what Kiki Hernandez has done as of late, he's on a modest 2-game hitting streak, 1 multi-hit game during that time span, but has homered in both those games, so does have 2 double-digit performances as well. And if he's kind of keeping up that home run hitting streak tonight versus Cole Irvin, with the good history that he's got versus him, good sample size in the last couple of games, should be another favorable matchup for Kiki Hernandez and this Dodgers lineup overall. Then we'll slide down to the outfield with his teammate Shohei Ohtani, $4,800, averaging just under 16 fantasy points per game. Goes against that same Baltimore Orioles team, Cole Irvin on the mound. He is 8 for 27 with 2 home runs versus Cole Irvin in his career, so some decent history there. And then if we look at what Shohei Ohtani has done as of late, he has at least 1 hit in 7 out of his last 8 games, 3 multi-hit games, 4 home runs, 6 double-digit performances, so been faring pretty well as of late. If we look at what he's done so far in the season, 292 average. He has 41 home runs, 94 RBIs, once again averaging just under 16 fantasy points per game at $4,800. And I'm going to go back to Kiki Hernandez real quick just because I didn't highlight his season stats, so I'm going to do that as we're talking here real quick. He has a .215 batting average, 9 home runs, 33 RBIs, once again average about 6 fantasy points per game at $2,600. But he is one of those part-time players, so his fantasy points per game is going to be a little bit lower than some of these other players. And then last but not least, in the outfield, we're going JD Martinez, $3,200, averaging just under 9.5 fantasy points per game, goes against the Arizona Diamondbacks, and Eduardo Rodriguez is the expected starting pitcher for them. JD Martinez has fared very well versus Eduardo Rodriguez in the past, 3 for 5 with 2 home runs. Although JD Martinez is on a little bit of a slump as of late, coming off a multi-hit game. Hopefully that continues going forward. But if we look at what he's done on the season in totality, .251 average, 15 home runs, 62 RBIs. Once again, averaging just under 9.5 fantasy points per game at $3,200. But definitely do like his upside once again tonight. And then with that being said, if you go with these 5 players that I do currently have listed here, you'll have $12,600 remaining, just under $3,200 per player. So looks like we can do a little bit of bounce build if you want to do that. If you want to pay up for a couple studs in addition to Shohei Ohtani, you could probably do that as well, and then kind of pay down at some other positions. If you're looking to pay up a little bit more at pitcher, you can do that as well. A lot of different options on this 9-game slate for Tuesday overall. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to my cheat sheet and talk about my top GPP teams to stack for tonight's slate overall. Once again, the cheat sheet is 100% free. It is up on Facebook, it's up on Twitter, and it's up on the YouTube community tab. So definitely feel free to use it as you're building out your lineups for tonight's slate overall. But in terms of the top GPP teams to stack for tonight's slate overall, we have the Los Angeles Dodgers. They're going against Cole Irvin. Some pretty good history versus them in the past. Obviously, we highlighted Shohei Ohtani and Kiki Hernandez in the core picks, but if you want to play them, you want to play Will Smith, a couple different Dodgers out there that are going to look pretty good tonight overall. And then we have the Texas Rangers going against Garrett Crochet, who's probably not going to pitch too deep in the game. Then you get into that Chicago White Sox bullpen. Not a lot of history there, but does have some decent upside for this Rangers team overall. Then last but not least, we have the Atlanta Braves going against Woods Richardson of the Minnesota Twins. There's some really limited history there. It's really like Jorge Soler and Gio Urshela who have faced him in the past, but definitely do like the upside of this Braves lineup overall. But with that being said, that's a quick little rundown of the core picks and top GPP teams to stack for tonight's slate overall. As always, if you have any questions related to MLB DFS, be sure to drop them down in the comments below, and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. And then, as always, I'll be listing all the updates down there as well, whether it's starting pitcher related, weather related, and then I will also be listing all these starting lineups as they do come out throughout the late afternoon and early evening. So definitely be looking down in that comment section, especially as we do get closer to lock. But with that being said, if you are brand new to my channel, checking it out for the very first time, or have yet to subscribe, please consider doing so. Definitely would appreciate it. It helps to build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports, which is one that's truly for you, the viewers, helping you with your DFS. Right now we have MLB DFS in terms of the core picks Monday through Friday. We have my CFL DFS video dropping once a week, typically on Wednesdays. And then last but not least, if you're interested in sports betting, if you're interested in prop betting whatsoever, be sure to check out the links and promo codes down in the description below for Prize Picks, Parlay Play, and BetUS. If you're a brand new user on any one of those three sites, when you sign up, make your initial deposit, you will get a first match deposit bonus. For Prize Picks and Parlay Play, it's 100% match up to $100. And then for BetUS, it's 125% match up to $2,000. So some pretty great opportunities to be had out there. If you have any other additional questions related to that whatsoever, feel free to reach out to me, whether it's down in the comment section of this video or on Twitter at Coach Craig Sport, and be more than happy to help you with that journey as well. But with that being said, that's all that I truly have for today's video. Definitely do appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. Definitely means a lot to me. I hope that each and every one of you have a great rest of your day and some pretty good luck in MLB DFS tonight.